in the sixth episode of the now. So therefore, we thought that let's unlock our own potential, and therefore, the concept of this week is unlocking own potential. Well, let me tell you. With that, I really wanted to start a small poll. I hope everybody is there. 26 is more than enough. Yeah. So, okay. Actually, unlocking the potential is, I believe, is a second step of something which is very important. So there is a small question, and I really wanted everyone, if you can write on your chat box, please do that. Which situation would you prefer? No ideal answer. Let me tell you. I really want the actual answer. If you have given two situation, one is unpredictable, one is predictable. In which situation you will be preferred to go? As I just now said, there is a no ideal answer, there's an actual answer. Yes. Dalbadi, can you share any of the answer, please?
Most of them are saying predictable, but few of them are saying unpredictable.
Very good. Thank you very much. I can see it now.
Mm, but
Dalmadi, can yeah,
very few are answering.
yeah,
We
it's
need
okay.
more response.
Yeah. Dalmadi, can you launch the poll from your side?
एक minute. I'm admitting people.
Yeah.
That's why.
Okay, it's okay. Some
Mm.
today there's a problem with the poll, so I'm extremely sorry with that. So yeah, definitely it's a normal human behavior that everybody would love to be in a predictable situation rather going themselves into the unpredictable situation. So I hope everybody would be agree with me that everybody would prefer to go in a predictable situation. You can give your answer with the non-verbal signs also. Am I right? Yeah, as Dolma said, most of the 50% people said yes. So now, when in outer world, we prefer to be in a predictable situation more than an unpredictable situation, then it comes why? Obviously, it's a human behavior to be under the control of a under control situation than out of control situation. Nobody want unpredictable life. Everybody want that they should be controlled. I try to make this concept little more easier for all of us to understand. So this is just a small theory, the control self environment theory. There's an inner world and there is an outer world. Inner world, outer world will be activated by the triggers. So once there is a trigger, inner world, I hope everybody will be knowing that belief, perception, words, thoughts, action, and outer world comprise of the people, situation, other factor, which is outside our body and our mind. So when it comes to the action part, when there is a trigger either in the inner world or the outer world, there is definitely a action. Then when there is action, there is a result. And now the result, whether it would be positive or negative, is entirely depend on our response or the reaction. So if we react on that particular situation, there will be most of the chances there will be a negative result. Whereas when we will respond to that particular action or a situation, there will be constructive and there will be a positive response. Now it comes. Now it's. I really wanted to take another question from you all, that which will be a control environment. Can you control other people's behavior, situation, and other factor which is creating your outer world, or you can actually control your inner world? Would you like to write in chat box, please? Yes. So as we can see, the inner world is always controlled and outer world is uncontrolled. But in today's scenario, we are trying to control the outer world, and therefore we are overlooking the inner world. And that is the motive of this show. Actually, we are really looking to transform the whole system, and system cannot be transformed until unless we transform ourselves positively. So this is just an initiative or motive of the show to prepare our nurses for the larger and uh, major responsibility, because we keep saying the nurses are not involved in policy making, nurses are not involved in healthcare decision making. So until unless we transform ourselves, we cannot be involved in a larger role. With this, we are preparing ourselves to just prepare to take the accountability and responsibility of the larger role. So now it comes to the uh, another part, that why this self realization is important. Self realization is all about knowing your own self, knowing your strength, knowing your weakness, knowing how you are going to react or respond in a particular situation. And self realization is controlling under your own power. It's controlling on your own thoughts, belief, words, action. So if a person is self aware, they will be more happy, their well-being is better, they will be having a better hopeful situation, they are don't get despaired, they don't get depressed easily. Moreover, they are the one who know how to unlock their potential. So this is today's concept. And unlocking potential, potential is a very powerful word and can be used in negative and as well as positive. It can be used as an adjective, it can be used as a noun, because it can be used different, the word with the different capabilities. It can be used as a potential, it can be used as a capability, it can be used with multiple ways. It's entirely that how we are using that word and where are we using. With that note, I would like to introduce our today's master, Mrs. Abanti Gopam. She is itself, I don't think she need any introduction. She's the one of the master of master. And I request, ma'am, it's over to you. And we would like to hear from you, your experience, your life story. Thank you very much, ma'am. Over to you. Ma'am, kindly unmute yourself and start speaking.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you,
am I
ma'am.
audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Hi, good evening, everybody. And it's a real pleasure to be on the Nurse Talk Show this evening. Thank you, Rupa, for having me on this show. Thank you, Sridevi, for mentioning me in your talk show. And it's a pleasure to interact with so many of the young nurses. So I go straight away to my story, as I've been requested to share that how did I unlock my potential and what happened to me through the course of my career, which is over 45 years. So I graduated from RAK College of Nursing, and as an outgoing school student, I was very sure that I wanted to become a nurse. And though there was opposition from my father and some of my uncles and aunts, my mother really supported me, and that's how I was a very mature young girl too. So I made up my mind and I got full support from my mother. She did all the homework, and that's how I landed up in Delhi RAK College of Nursing as a West Bengal government sponsored candidate. And in RAK, I was not a very studious student, and I've never been anything more than an average student in school or during BSc, and not very studious, going to the library and reading and all. I used to pay attention in the classes, my notes were good enough, and I thought that was fine. So I went ahead with that, finished my 4-year course. I was lucky that those days our nurse student teacher ratio was 1:8. So all our teachers knew us inside out, and each of them were role models. And I think many of you would be knowing Dr. Bimla Kapoor. She was at that time Ms. Bimla Arora, a very young nurse, but the way she held herself, the way she walked in the wards, and the way she commanded respect from the doctors, Ms. Asha Joshi, who is now Mrs. Asha Sharma, all the teachers throughout were role models. However, we were very mischievous as students at that age, teenagers we were. I joined a private hospital in Calcutta and worked in the ICU for 2 years as a staff nurse. And it so happened, my luck, that the in charge of the ICU was Sister Suchitra Ghosh, who also happened to be an ex-RAK graduate. And the way she led the ward was just like what I had learned. So it was theory implemented into practice. The doctors would come on round and they would ask her first how the patient was doing rather than the others. The consultants would ask her. So that was another role model I got. After that, I moved to Bombay due to marriage, and I went straight for my MSc nursing. Even as I joined MSc nursing, Dr. Annamma Prabhakar, she was the major turning point in my life. I think many here will know Dr. Annamma Prabhakar. She was our MSc coordinator and MSc guide and teacher also, along with Mrs. Matthew. But the way she used to talk about nursing, the way she had a strong impact and influence on me, which totally changed me. So from a happy-go-lucky, committed nurse, very honest, committed and strong integrity, from a happy-go-lucky nurse, I changed into a really passionate, integrated, and something that nurses have to do something to make a difference. And one of my batchmates, Gurjeet, was also ardent library reader. I never went much to the library during BSc, but during MSc, I realized that the library really is an eye-opener. And that's how I developed my love for reading widely. I used to read widely, but not nursing books. So I started reading nursing journals and things like that. But so in college, it was Dr. Annamma Prabhakar who really changed me, and she was different, absolutely. And she's a very highly respected, vast knowledge. When she walked in the wards, even other doctors and health professionals would ask, who is this lady who walks with such confidence? And she was oozing confidence. So after that, I joined as a cardiac nurse, and then I did my stoma therapy course in Tata Hospital, and joined the college, was a lecturer for 5 years, started the oncology nursing program. All along, the years went by. My first administrative post came when we shifted to Madras, Chennai from Bombay, and I joined there in the Institute of Cardiovascular Hospital, Madras Medical Mission. There I joined as I was just 33, and I became the nursing coordinator, the chief nurse over there. And whatever I had learned in cardiovascular nursing during my MSc, I could implement over here as an administrator. Now, during MSc, it was Mrs. Prabhakar who used to be very appreciative. And being an average student all along, I never thought that I was capable of anything extraordinary. But her appreciation, her expectation increased my self-confidence and my conviction. And then because of my clinical experience, I really did very well with cardiovascular nursing, and I did the best thesis, and my clinicals were very strong, and people were impressed. And then my self-drive, motivation, and all that started building up. So when I went as an administrator, even as a lecturer, I was very committed. But when I went as an administrator, the whole field was mine. So I realized that we can implement whatever we want if we have no agenda behind it, if our intentions are good and we are promoting good patient care. There are very few obstacles. And that's when I really started making an impact. And people sat up and realized that here's a difference in nursing care. Patients realize that the nursing care here is different. And 3 years over there, I learned a lot. I gained a lot of knowledge of cardiovascular nursing, surgeries, and pediatric cardiovascular surgeries. Then we moved to Calcutta, and I joined BM Birla Heart Research Center. 18 years, 18 long years I was with BM Birla Heart Research Center to make a difference, to make an impact, to let people sit up and realize one has to stay put in an organization for long enough for people to realize, because as you join in, people will not have trust in you. They will not have faith. You have to earn that trust and faith. And that's where I really got a silver platter. And I started building first on knowledge. I realized by then that knowledge was power. And it was knowledge that would, whatever I achieved in BM Birla, everything I was doing was different than routine. And that's what made a difference. How was I being different? Nothing came from my brain. It was all what I had seen people doing, what I was reading, nursing journals all over the world, what people were doing. And whatever I liked in a person, I imbibed into myself. Whatever I read, I liked, I inculcated into myself. And that's how started implementing differences. I went to Oxford to attend the dynamic standard setting system, came back to BM Birla and implemented it. I read in a journal how you can have in-service education or through games. And I implemented it, and all hospitals from Calcutta used to attend that. It became possible. People also moved. I realized that when you have the intention, even you can move the mountains. So that kept happening. Then I got an invitation as a speaker to Mount Abu, where one of my ex-colleagues and teacher, Miss Chandramani, was there. She organized from Global Hospital a conference. I accepted it, but I got a call from the local Brahma Kumaris that you have to undergo a 7 days Raj Yoga course in order to be a speaker over there. I was a bit surprised and not very happy about that, but nevertheless, I attended that course as the 7-day Raj Yoga course, and it was nice. I liked the Raj Yoga concept, and but I didn't become a follower strictly of Brahma Kumari, but I started doing meditation. And as I started doing meditation, I realized that you can calm yourself, you can slowly grow in, the Maslow's triangle. We all want to move up from basic needs to higher needs. So this also helped me gradually move up in self-esteem and towards, of course, we are not self-actualized, very few people are, but at least we are moving up the triangle to the peak end. And then I went at 45 years of age, I went for my MPhil nursing. This was all self-driven. Nobody told me you have to do this, you have to do that, or you have to read up this. It was all coming from within, self-driven. Because you realize, you do reflection, you introspect, and you grow. So during MPhil also, I had to learn transcendental meditation because I thought that would be my topic. However, that changed later. And by then, the depth of knowledge in cardiovascular nursing had expanded so much that I would like to emphasize that depth of knowledge. Knowledge is power. And the more knowledge you have your self-esteem. You are able to speak up to people. You are able to stand in front of people. And that's how you unlock your potential. The more widely you read, not only nursing, self-development. The BM Birla library was developed all through funds obtained from WHO or this and that, various resources. And we built the strong library in Calcutta with all kinds of nursing journal, all kind of foreign nursing journals, even self-development books like Robin Sharma, and simple handbooks, which I used to encourage students to, staffs to read. Libraries are not only for college. This concept I wanted to change. Staffs have to keep reading. Staffs close their books. Staffs have to be well-read, widely aware what's happening in the world. And that's how we keep growing ourselves. Another thing which I realized was the emotional quotient. All of us are intelligent or average. I was always average. I don't think I was any more intelligent or anything, but it was my emotional quotient and spiritual quotient which kept growing. And that is where you will find people are different. when your EQ becomes higher, you are able to face any storm in life. You become detached. We will get praised, we will get blamed, but you learn to take gradually both in your equal stride. So that's how I could finish my MPhil at 45 years with a full family, a husband, a small child, my full-time work. I used to get up at 4 in the morning, 4 to 6, 2 hours was my time to do my MPhil assignments. It was a contract course, so I had to do it from home and send the assignments, managed it. And that thesis was also the best MPhil thesis. So it wasn't impossible. And also, all along, I realized that I was pushing myself. I was competing with myself, not with anybody else. Every morning you get up, some days you feel today I won't do my exercise. Your inner voice becomes strong and says, no, you have to do it. I go on rounds and then I feel tired. Okay, today I won't do this what. Let it be. It's going to be time. Let me go and have a cup of tea. Inner voice speaks, no, let me finish. Let me go and visit every patient. Let me go and talk to that patient whom I met yesterday who was so disturbed. This keeps happening and you become, and the satisfaction you get when you are able to, it's like reaching the mountain top and then you want to slide down. But the moment you don't give up, you go out over top the mountain, you really feel that sense of achievement and it's very satisfying. So that the more you do it, the higher you can go and the more you keep. It's not about doing it for yourself. It's not for promotions. It's not for positions. Power is not position. Power is influencing people. So that's how I used to build leaders. I used to encourage young nurses to take up leadership roles, read, how to make them read, make them do journal presentations. In-service classes, one had to do journal presentation in rotation so that they will read. Actually, my story, how we went about, we even organized the first international conference from Asian Cardiac Nurses Association. But the whole team, as I said, when you want to do something, even you can move the mountains. So we got all kinds of support from every unexpected quarter and we could do it. We organized the Cascade, that was the first national level, different various colleges of India participated over there. And it was open to all colleges, not only nursing colleges. All these things we could do because I read about it somewhere, I saw others doing it, and that's how I got the idea and implemented. There were many novel things I started, which today has become mandatory. But in the 1993, 1994, in BM Birla, we started the program. We started the standards and nursing audits, and we started things like, introduce the pain scale. Today it is mandatory to measure the pain, but we started the pain scale then. Where did I get all these ideas from? From reading, from what's happening all over the world, and implement it. Nobody stops you from implementing something which is good intention for patient care. This, I'm very sure, I learned it. That you may have one or those hurdles, as long as your intention is excellence in nursing. That's how nursing will come up. We must be visible at the bedside. Patients used to say nothing more satisfying when patients say, we have never seen this type of nursing before, or nurses are different over here, or this place looks like nurse-led. Now, how did these things come? This is what happens when you read and try to implement, and it's really good. Then I joined Tata Hospital nursing program, CVT nursing in MS in BM Birla, oncology in Tata. In Sayadri also started an MSc nursing program. So wherever I started these programs, in Tata, I started the sleep scale. How did I get the sleep scale? I read it somewhere. I said, let's implement it, because patients with oncology, pain and all, they don't get good sleep. So this is how MSc students also got new topics which were clinical oriented, rather than only doing a theory based thing. did I do? Because I thought there was a long gap. I was only 23 when I did my MSc, and I was 45 when I did my MPhil. Too long a gap. I thought I need to update myself. That's where I learned theories of nursing. When I learned theories of nursing, I loved them. And then I tried to implement a particular ward, a pediatric ward in Calcutta Medical Research Institute, based on a theory, Martha Rogers theory. So this is how we actually can make a difference. I think that's what I would like to share, my story. I'm learning how to use technology. I'm learning Zoom, which I've never done before, the first time. Taking online classes for MSCs. It's also learning. I learn from my children. I learn from my students. Many students have taught me a lot, how to be assertive. Many students have turned around. Those days, in my younger days, I used to be like a policeman, very strict. And there was a staff who turned around and said, "Ma'am, you can't talk to me like that." I said, "Why?" She said, "I'm a human being, that's why." Hats off to that student. I respect her. And this is how we learn. We have to be able to learn from everybody, and there's no shame in learning from youngsters or students. And you really do. At the end of the day, we should have 5 to 10 minutes on introspection, self-reflection. How can I do it better? Mrs. Prabhakar used to say, at the end of the day, ask yourself, have I done everything possible for my patient? That sentence got stuck in my head. Until today, I say, have I or for my student or for myself or for my family, anyone? So I think
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, we are totally mesmerized and totally, I was speechless. I wanted to say that time is going fast, but yeah, I think it's worth spending much time on your story, and especially the last part. And thankfully that I couldn't say that we should stop, because in the last you say few lines, and these are the life changer for so many people, especially your EQ. People, I hope nobody knows, and many people nowadays doesn't know about the EQ, but let me tell you, EQ is another emotional quotient, and multinational company, and whenever you are going for the international recruitment services, they are putting it on the high level. A person with a high EQ is better as a CEO and a manager post than just intelligence. They are not seeing intelligence, they are not seeing degrees, they are just marking the EQ, and a people who can actually mark the EQ as getting a very high payment just for the interview sake only, because they wanted to tap the right candidate for the right position. Book reading, yeah, I keep telling everyone that please do read books. It's not about that just your syllabus book. It is like, try to learn from all the philosophy, all the ideas, and see how we can, because we are dealing with the human. And as ma'am said, when we read, it gives us more idea, it's more give us more creativity, innovation. And that's what we can do in nursing. Turning point, that's role modeling. We are full of the people surrounding, our outer world. We have to control our inner world, as ma'am keeps saying in her whole story, life journey. But at the same time, when your inner world is controlled, then you will see your outer world is also transforming as per your need and as per your desire. People start coming, the selective people will start coming in your surrounding, and the people who you don't want to be in your surrounding will be slowly swaying away from your circle. Me time, this is one of the lovely concept, and I request all the human being, and especially ladies, please spare some time for this me time, because this is going to add happiness in your life. This will add quality in your life, and ultimately you will see difference in your life. So that was a lovely story, how a happy-go-lucky girl become a committed, passionate nurse, and thank you very much for that, ma'am. I wanted to sincerely sorry everyone. Everybody keep praising our poll, and today we cannot do polling system because we are on Facebook Live, so we cannot do two things together. So yeah, ma'am, there's a one or two question which I really wanted to take first, and then we'll start taking our own questions. There's one question that how do you do journal presentation for the nurses?
okay. Actually, we had plenty of journals in our library. So, the foreign journals. So any good article I would come across, I would want that everyone should know about it and tell any one of the staffs turn by turn. First the in charges, then the shift in charges, and some of the good staffs who were able to speak well, and they would present it. Just 15 minutes, 20 minutes presentation. 2 presentations every day. So we had half an hour in service time, in service class in PM Birla every day. So 2 presentations once a week would be done. And that's how people would read. And if sometimes I would tell them also that you pick up any
article, journal.
The same thing I adopted in Tata Medical.
Great. Actually, people will think why I opted this question. But let me tell you, there is so many journal nurses, and I request every journal nurse here to don't wait that your manager, your in charge will say that. Why don't you start? Why don't you use your tea time for doing this? Because innovation and creativity can be everywhere. We can think of monthly, have a tea samosa meeting with just reading a new article on a nursing journal, or we can even discuss a new book which somebody has read already. Yeah. So ma'am, because you have been in so many responsible and accountable position as administrator, how do you motivate the nurses for the documentation and so many other things which nurses register to do? How you motivate your nurses to do that?
I don't know. I mean, I find today many nurse administrators complaining of resistance, but there was a lot of resistance. But actually, when you handhold them, you take workshops and introduce them. When we started the assessment, the nursing, great detail, and 2 of the nurses also from ex-SNDT who came to PM Birla for a 2-year posting, Rosalind and Belinda, they helped us to devise that detailed head-to-toe assessment for cardiac patients. And so we had a very good format. And since it was formatted, it wasn't very difficult. See, it was made mandatory. You have to do it. Give them some time, take workshops, introduce them, handhold them, and then the nursing care plan. So we anything called progress report and all. Everything was recorded in the care plan. The nursing diagnosis, what the nurse has done for that problem, and what was the outcome. That these simplified, modified, and they were doing it. It worked pretty well, and it's not that MSc, BSc nurses, every nurse was doing it. Some of the CVT specialized nurses, most of them were diploma holders, wrote excellent care plans, which even maybe today a master's nursing may not be able to write. Yeah. So
another very interesting question, and we really wanted to keep this as a concept also. As you know, ma'am, because you reach on the pinnacle of success, so definitely self-discipline played an important role in your life. How you maintain your self-discipline in your life? Because somebody wrote it's very difficult to follow a particular routine and being follow a disciplined lifestyle.
Yeah, self-discipline will come, as I said. I mean, see, none of us like to be pushed around. We are all adults. So when you don't want to be pushed around, you drive yourself. That's all. So rather than people telling me what to do, I'd rather do it myself. I know I have to keep healthy because I live alone. So many times I feel, okay, today I won't do exercise. And I tell myself, no, what's the use? I will fall sick, so I have to keep fit. That's how self-discipline comes. You drive yourself, you believe, and then I think meditation helps a lot. Meditation helps in, as you said, see, we've conquered space, we've gone to the moon. We have not conquered our inner space. We have to conquer ourselves. First, conquer ourselves, then we can think of conquering outside. We can't conquer other people. You have to conquer yourself. Even if you say among staffs, how was the discipline? If you are disciplined, like before 8, I will reach my office. So all the in charges who would come to sign in that office knew I'll be there before 8. That's for
Yeah.
me. I don't have to tell them anything. You have to just show.
Totally agree, ma'am. The next question is, how can self-realization is achieved? How does it helps in a professional life?
It helps in professional life because, see, you are looking at your patients, you're looking at your colleagues. When you have a self-realization, you look at yourself, you know your weaknesses, you know your strengths. Cultivate your strength and try to strengthen your strengths rather than think, oh, I can't do this, I'm weak in that. Don't concentrate on the weakness. Focus on your strengths and build on your strength. 90% of our potentials are untapped. That 90%, only 10% of every human, literature and science says so, that only 10% of our potential is tapped. When you do introspection, when you do meditation, when you develop your emotional quotient, then I will say that another quotient, XQ factor, will help in self-realization. XQ factor is executing, excelling. Don't do only this much. I'm paid to do this, I'll do this much. To realize that where you need to improve. Whatever you are, dare to be different. Face it. I confront issues. I'm weak in this. Let me do it. If I fear something, let me face that. That's how you will do self-realization. You have to first understand what is my weakness and listen to people what they see. Many times someone had said, whatever, I know myself, everyone knows me. No, I am thinking that will be surprised to know what I think of myself and what other people think of me, maybe poles apart. So I don't know if people have read the book, I Am Okay, You're Okay. That's a transactional analysis book. When we come to the box, I am okay, you are okay, that's the time we have self-realized. But if I think I am okay, you're not okay, someone will think you are okay, I am not okay, or some will think I am also not okay, you're also not okay.
Lovely
It's very
explanation, ma'am.
difficult to say I am also okay. Accept yourself, accept others. That's the best.
Yeah. So now next question is, how one can get out of their comfort zone, because you always push yourself out of your comfort zone. So what makes you drive to go out of your comfort zone, ma'am?
To move out of your comfort zone, I will I have a quoting here. Do a little more than what you are paid to do. Give a little more than you have to do. You want to. Aim a little higher than you think is possible. And give a little more than is expected. If this much every day, little bit more we do, we can move out of our comfort zone. Let us not become complacent. Let us push ourselves. Even a simple thing, I'm saying exercise. If I have to do 10 push-ups, why not do 15? If I have to do 20 times, get out of your comfort zone. It becomes a habit.
Yeah. Ma'am, our next question is, how to overcome procrastination, and there is a fear to lose and therefore I cannot grab the opportunity. First question is how to overcome procrastination. Another is the fear of lose actually keep people away to grab the opportunity.
Overcoming procrastination is absolutely self-discipline. And as again and again, that the big companies, even corporates, today look for leaders with high EQ, not IQ. So these high EQ people are the one who are self-disciplined. And when you're self-disciplined, you will never procrastinate. So work on yourself, work on your self-discipline, follow Kaizen. I don't know if you know the Japanese term Kaizen. Kaizen means self-discipline. If you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, every single day, 5 a.m. you wake up. Not that Sunday I'll sleep till 9. Sunday ho ya Monday, 5 a.m., 5 a.m., 5 a.m. That is how you avoid procrastination. Practice Kaizen, self-discipline, self-reflection, and try to maintain that thing. Sleep adequately, don't overeat, control your, sometimes you go overboard and you overeat and all. Self-control will help you in all this self-procrastination.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Next question is it possible to know your own, I mean, how to analyze your own capacities and limitations? How to analyze your own strength and limitations, ma'am?
They available 360-degree feedback. 360-degree feedback you get from your colleagues, from your juniors, from your seniors, and of course from your own self. In fact, even in SNDT as a teacher, I used to take feedback from students. There was a lot of opposition for that, but at least for my students, I used to take feedback from them about my teaching, about my clinical supervision, and even in BM Birla and wherever I worked, I used to take 360-degree. Nasty, and it did get nasty many times, but you take it in your stride. You've asked for it, so you take it in your stride. And when people deliberately want to make derogatory comments, you can ignore those. Yes, a lot of courage is definitely needed for this, but that's how you can do it. Yeah. By taking 360-degree feedback, you can analyze yourself, and then you also know look at your soul. Ask yourself, who am I, what am I, and what is there to be afraid of? There's nothing to be afraid of. We are all the same in the eyes of God. If you believe that we are all souls in the eyes of God, if you believe that, you've conquered yourself.
Totally agree. Ma'am, next question is very important. Post-marriage, can I still try to be ambitious and goal-oriented? Because I hope you understand there's so many nurses couldn't, achieve immediately after the marriage, and so many family problems. So what suggestion would you give to them?
Well, let me tell you that I got married at the age of 23. I did my MSc after marriage. I did my MPhil after marriage and a small child. So everything is possible. Yes, you have to have a very supportive family and a supportive spouse. And you will get support if you support others. I mean, that's all understanding. So you have to give to get. You can't only expect to get. I mean, a bit out of the topic I'm going, I feel today's young girls or women are going again 360-degree, with that liberation and things like that. But I feel you have to give a lot to get. You can't only be getting. So yes, definitely you will be able to do your ambition. And all my career, I married at 23. I was just 2 years a staff nurse. Then I married. Everything else is post-marriage, post-child. What's the problem? There's no problem. But yes, you have to do a lot of adaptation. You have to do a lot of adjustment with the family. You can't say that I will not compromise, because both people have to compromise. It's not a one-way ticket.
And here I really wanted to add one more thing, that set a right expectation since beginning. It's very important, especially for the girls and the boys. You should be very clear with your thought process since the beginning, so that you will get the support. And it's very important to give the support. First of all, you have to show them that you are a right person, and then you started getting the right support from your family. Yes. So next question is, with no support from the family and colleagues, how to unlock potential? How to balance and raise the potential?
I don't know why no support from colleagues. And see, we don't seek outside. You have to seek within you. What is your potential? If you have the potential, it's not possible that you will not get support. If your agenda is right, if you're not doing it for some other intention, if you're doing it for the sole good of the patients, if you're doing it for the sole good of your family or your child or your spouse, everything not for yourself. If your intention is only for yourself, you may not get support. But if your intention is for patient, for the betterment of the nursing profession, then I don't see how, I mean, everyone will not support. Opposition will be there. And as I say, every battle cannot be won. But every battle cannot be won, the soldier nahi. So I won't go to war. You have to keep doing. Yes, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you will, every time you won't lose, every time you may not win also. But definitely it's not possible that you'll never get. If that is the thing, get 360-degree feedback and find out what's going wrong. Do introspection, reflect.
Yeah, amazing, ma'am. I hope everybody would be happy, and we today could able to take almost 10 questions, which was I was not expected in the beginning. So with that note, I hope everybody would be agree. We would like to have few take home messages from you, ma'am, because we every week we are trying to come up with the practical tricks, with the practical points, which we can actually start using. Because I hope everybody would be agree with me. The guest who is associated with us since beginning, they are finding at least if every show will give a 1% improvement in your own behavior, in your own personality, we can think of having a very good improvement at the end of this year. With that note, I really want, ma'am, please tell us how we can unlock our own potential with your tips.
Okay, so I mean, it's a summing up of whatever I've been saying. First thing is read. Wide reading, not only nursing. Read what is happening all over the world. Read self-development books. These are really helpful in increasing your own potential. There are books on empowerment, assertiveness. There are books on self-discipline, how discipline. All these will help you. So read widely. And I like to tell you that I have whatever I do, whatever is based on reading notes. I have at least 5-6 diaries where I read and make notes. So when you make notes, you read it twice. When you read once. When you write it down, you read it twice. So, and it's a permanent document for me. So many quotations, so many books, whatever I like, I write it down. But make sure you implement it. That is important. I mean, we attend conferences, workshops, they implement. Whatever you like, implement it. So that's one thing. Find out a mentor if you must. Everyone may not have a mentor. You need not also have a mentor, but find out a mentor if you must. Get out of your comfort zone. Be uncomfortable. Face your fears. Have courage. You will be able to overcome. Tap your potential. Keep saying that I have not reached my potential. That's how. Work on your emotional quotient. If your emotional quotient is very strong, it is not possible to seek support. If you're not getting support, then build your EQ. Build your XQ, your excellence factor, your executing factor, and exploring factor, and exceed beyond expectation. Don't stick to expectation. Exceed beyond expectation. So XQ, EQ, and working. All these are very important for you to take home. And build your character. Build your strong, reputation. Guard your reputation. Reputation travels before a person. If you have a strong reputation, your inner resources, you can come out a winner anytime.
Great, ma'am. So I just wanted to echo ma'am's word so that it will be, re-emphasized with our all guests. Read widely, take notes, revise and implement whatever you are reading from those books. Try to have a mentor role model, which is very difficult, but it's not that difficult. Let me tell you, I'm having so many role models and mentors around me. And be uncomfortable always, because people who loves comfort and being always in their complacent zone, they cannot reach where we are listening today's master.
Right.
Another, work on EQ and SQ. XQ is definitely new terminology for me too. And build on character. Definitely these things gives you the power to unlock your own potential. It was very rightly said, because till the death, we as a human being, we can only use our 10% of potential. Can you imagine? 90% of our human being potential was wasted and unused throughout our life. And people used to think that Leonardo da Vinci, Einstein, they were superhuman. They were not superhuman. They just know how to unlock their potential. And with today's session, I hope everybody understand that how powerful we are. We are not just charging, we are just charging our mobile, but we are not charging our body. We are not charging our mind with the right thought. So it is not just going for the same, just controlling weight, it is also control your thought, control your inner world. With that note, I really wanted to come with my take home lesson to you all, and this is my favorite circle. And since I got to know this, actually it is transforming for my life too. Like, everybody love to sit in their comfort zone, that red area. And it, when you are in fear, you are having feeling of fail. So let me tell you, somebody asked, I am having feeling of fail, to grab the opportunity. If you have that feeling, so let me tell you, feel that you are on right path. If you have a fear, then you are on right path. Once you will cross the fear zone, you will enter into the learning zone. And in a learning zone, you are going to acquire so many skills. It's a full of learning. And at last, once you learn and keep learning, with that learning, you will enter into the growth zone and the successful zone, which we used to achieve. Everybody want to achieve that. With that note, ready to leave your comfort zone. First of all, have a self confidence. You can achieve everything. Be courageous. Strive to urge or learn more and more. You should have a clear goal. And as ma'am said, whenever you connect with your goal, with social cause, let me tell you, procrastination, and you will be self disciplined when you know that whatever you are doing, it is going to impact so many people. So then you are starting to feel more responsible toward your goal. You know that if I will be late to doing that, so many people will be impacted. For example, if you want to start a show at 5:30 and it will be late, then definitely so many people, you are very important for us, because you have been waiting for us and we really wanted to be on time. With that note, I really wanted to grateful that today we are able to achieve our target. We have been struggling a lot to finish our show on time, but today I'm really grateful to Ma'am Obanti, who graciously said yes to be on the show. And we are totally owed to you, ma'am. Thank you very much. And with that note, I really want that please say a few words.
Yeah, you're telling me?
Yeah. It's over to you, ma'am.
Okay. So it was a real pleasure to be on this show. I mean, I actually didn't know about this, and I must thank Sridevi for introducing me to that, and then Rupa and your whole team.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing a very great job. And talks, and we see, other gurus giving these kind of talks, but nurses talking to nurses, it's a really good initiative that has been taken. And I really hope that the nurses who attend will gain a lot from all this. And
Rupa's brainchild. Rupa wanted something, and we all just rallied around her. So it's as simple as that. A good thought with no selfishness. She only met me once, Miss Abanti, in Delhi.
Yeah.
Uma ma'am introduced Rupa to me only once, and that's us. But it looks like we had a lifelong relationship. And see how relationship has been like that. I was sure, there was no doubt in my head that Miss Abanti will not say no, because we were last time when it came to my head, when I thought of
I must confess that when you first talked to me about this, my comfort zone was uncomfortable. And I must confess that I was tempted to say, no, Sridevi, I can't do all this. But then I said, no, if I'm uncomfortable, I must do it and learn what this thing is about. And that's how I took it up, just to get used to handling this kind of a talk show.
Thank you very, very, very much, ma'am. With that note, we really want to end our show here. And
It's welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Next week concept will be the soft skill, and here we are going off from the recording part, but we will be live